Hello everybody and welcome to the round glass review for the KamLan 28mm f1.4. This lens is made by Sonic under their brand KamLan. Sonic makes some of the other similar lenses right now, including Zonlay and Mica. I would like to tell you more about Sonic, but as of this video's recording, my antivirus program will not let me access their website. It's honestly not shocking. Anyway, so top tip, maybe you should not visit their website either. In fairness to Sonic, it's probably just a certificate issue. Anyway, this lens's name is the KamLan 28mm f1.4. It was introduced in 2018 and is still available new on the KamLan website, though I would guess that's likely to be new old stock, as there doesn't seem to have been a new KamLan lens design as of this video's recording in 2023 since 2019. Typical lens uses would be as a fast and slightly wide normal lens. This would also be a good lens for video on APS-C and micro four thirds, given its angle of view, stepless aperture, and smooth handling. This video is way too long, I am not going to watch this. I was shocked by how good this lens was, especially given my experience with their 50mm f1.1, that's the first version, which that's not a good lens. Anyway, this lens, the 28mm 1.4, is an enjoyable lens to use that readily returns stunning images with great colors, incredible contrast, simply fantastic sharpness, and a very natural image perspective. This is a lens that really makes me enjoy using APS-C format cameras. Your focal length and AOV are 28mm and 53.3 degrees on APS-C. In full frame terms, to have the same AOV and focal length, you would need a 42mm lens. As a note, this lens has a larger image circle than I expected. On full frame sensors, if you use this on full frame and then you crop your sensor to a 4:5 aspect ratio, you're going to have little to no vignetting. In many situations, it's completely natural to the image, and that's a way to get a whole lot more out of this lens than it was designed for on APS-C. The aperture range is 1.4 to 16. The element and group count are 8 and 7. The design type appears to be an Ultron, but don't quote me on that because it also looks like a sonar, and quite frankly, I'm not an expert in just picking out lens design types by looking at them yet. I'm still working on that, but it is an interesting design to say the least. The filter size is 52mm. The closest focus is 0.25 meters. It is manual focus only. The native mounts are Sony E, Fuji X, Canon M, and micro four thirds. Dimensions are 55 by 65 millimeters, and the weight will vary slightly by mount, but it's going to be around 384 grams. Well, here's my best tip. Use this lens on full frame and crop it to 4:5. Open all your RAW files, batch edit, and batch crop them, and you can have images that capitalize on this lens's complete-ish image circle. It will not cover full frame in 2 to 3, but it will just about cover a 4:5 cropped full frame image. This maximizes your image circle use, and you can get a bit more out of this lens. In fact, of the 8-ish full-frame images in this video, 6 are cropped to 4:5, and that's where, to my eye, this lens really performs in its most captivating manner, even though, yeah, you're going to capture some of the lens's outside of the APS-C image circle flaws, but for me, that really just adds some interesting character. It doesn't really take away from the images. When used correctly, huge asterisk. My next tip is that this lens is great for APS-C and micro four thirds video shooters. The mechanical handling components are beautiful to handle. They're smooth, and they're indicative of a great amount of focus on making this lens absolutely delightful to handle. This lens really truly marries manual focus still handling with excellent video usability. KamLan doesn't indicate what design type this is, but you know what? I'm going to change my vote from earlier, and I'm going to hazard a guess that this is a sonar type design. This lens uses a large amount of high refractive index glass that, especially those elements in the back, will do a lot to help minimize color fringing and chromatic aberrations. Breathing over a 0.7 meter distance starting at the lens's closest focus is modest. It's noticeable, but not intrusive. The aperture is stepless with 11 blades designed to provide a circular iris across the aperture range, which provides generally smooth out-of-focus area transitions when stopping down. The front element moves in and out 4 millimeters and does not rotate. Focus throw is 140 degrees. The focus ring is stationary and wide enough for a focusing gear. Focus damping is fantastic, and this lens's focus ring and aperture ring are both smooth and simply incredible to handle. The autofocus effect on audio is non-existent, being that this is a manual focus lens. And also, it's a very quiet lens. There's no noise whatsoever from the focusing or aperture mechanics in this lens. Sharpness is excellent when stopped down slightly. Wide open, it's better than most comparable lenses, but there will be some softness and some very mild tangential astigmatism on close inspection. Build quality is excellent, and the lens is one of the most pleasing to use that I've ever held. Contrast is good, and that translates into good sharpness and also rich colors. The out-of-focus areas are pleasing across the aperture range and simply stunning in the first half of the aperture range, which is from wide open to around f5. Barrel distortion is noticeable at the peripheries on APS-C. Light loss isn't shabby on APS-C because the used image area is so small compared to the total image circle. To illustrate that, the first light loss series is each marked aperture in APS-C, and then we will see the full-frame version with full vignetting. This also illustrates pretty well how the lens can be used in full frame with a 4:5 crop to use more of the image circle. Flare is basically non-existent if you use the lens hood, and I did, exclusively, and only achieved one image with flare, for which I think I had to remove the lens hood. Ghosting occurs in a weird and localized way. I could not get this lens to deliver traditional ghosting, and instead it gave these local blobs of light that look like coma meets astigmatism blobs. It's a performance artifact I don't hate. Well, actually, no. No, I'm gonna go back on that. I'm gonna backpedal. Actually, I kind of like it because it's a unique image character to this lens. It's a distinctive look, and honestly, I do kind of like what this lens does with source lights, especially wide open. The balance with cameras is really superb. This lens is small and dense, and it feels like it belongs on cameras across the size spectrum. I started my time with the KamLan 28mm f1.4, not expecting much except to be disappointed. And you know what? I wasn't. This is probably the best third-party manual focus APS-C lens that I've used. Period. And end of story. The image quality, color, sharpness, and contrast hold up across the aperture range. The handling is smooth like a ceramic ball bearing, and the lens is simply, and in all ways, delightful to use. Now, KamLan doesn't appear to have released a new lens in some time, and honestly, that's kind of sad, because if the rest of their catalog is as good as this lens, or at least if all of their other lenses handle as well as this lens, then they would decidedly be the creators of the most enjoyable to use manual focus lenses on the market today. If I could get my hands on a lens that handles like this one, but for full frame, it would rarely leave the front of my camera. Yeah, I have a bunch of Zeiss, Canon, Pentax, Nikon, Goerz, Ernemann, and other very good lenses from across the last century. And yeah, in some really important ways, the KamLan 28mm f1.4 holds its own against all of them.